At some point, discipline stops being a technique. It stops being a checklist. It stops being a mood. It stops being a temporary rescue plan for a messy week, and it becomes something deeper. It becomes identity. That is the real shift. Because as long as discipline feels like an outside force, you will argue with it. You will treat it like an obligation handed down by some imaginary authority. Something to resist, something to perform, something to obey when convenient. But when discipline becomes part of who you are, the conversation changes. You stop asking, "Do I have to?" You start asking, "Who am I becoming if I keep doing this?" That question changes everything. Identity is built through repetition, not declarations. You can say, "I am focused" all day long. But if you keep abandoning your work, your life will believe your actions, not your sentence. You can say, "I am disciplined." But if your habits constantly drift, the words become decoration. Real identity is quieter. It is what you return to when no one is correcting you. This is why the small daily act matters so much. The page opened, the walk taken, the work finished, the temptation resisted, the rest respected, the promise kept. Each one is a vote, not for a fantasy self, for a real one. A person does not become disciplined by accident, they become disciplined by repeated alignment. Again and again, they choose the same direction. Not because every choice feels easy, but because eventually the choice starts to feel like home. There is comfort in that. Not the comfort of laziness, the comfort of recognition. You wake up and know what kind of person you are trying to be. You know what your life is organizing itself around. You know that your habits are not random, they are declarations. That is why identity is so powerful. It gives your effort meaning. You are not just forcing yourself through another task, you are practicing being the person you said you wanted to become. And over time, the practice becomes familiar, then natural, then steady. This is also why shame is such a poor teacher. Shame says, "You failed, so maybe this is not who you are." Discipline says, "You slipped, but you can return to who you are becoming." That difference matters. One closes the door, the other leaves it open. One shrinks your future, the other expands it. So maybe the question is not whether you are disciplined right now. Maybe the better question is, what kind of person do I keep becoming through my repeated choices? Because identity is not hidden in your self image, it is hidden in your pattern, and patterns can change. One honest day at a time, one return at a time, one aligned action at a time. That is how discipline stops feeling like a tool and starts feeling like a self. You do not use discipline only to reach a life, you use it to become someone who can live that life.